Hello and welcome. Hello everyone. We are back after a bit of an issue with the lobby. We are jumping right back into it. For those who are wondering, I will be reading out the grid as soon as I get it on my side. I believe you won't be able to see it through this menu. Yes, we won't be able to see it. But for those wondering, it was Stel that took pole with a 5-place grid drop, dropping him all the way down to P6. Not a great ending to the fantastic pole lap that Stel did put on. But you win some, you lose some, and I'm definitely sure Stel will be fighting it back. He's got the pace. He's such a good driver. In all honesty, I think the entire Tier 1 is such a good grid. And from a driver's perspective, I hope I can one day get into that pace category to be able to fight these incredible drivers. Just naming a few guys, Brock, Stel, you've got Bloodwave, all these guys just putting in some good laps. And they're actually helping a lot of the ALR community improving. Mitch, such a good driver. Very underrated as well. I think people do underestimate his ability sometimes. Jack, he might have qualified in the midfield, but still, I think he's a good driver all around. You've got guys like Alupalu. He's such a good wheel-to-wheel racer. I enjoy racing with guys like him. He normally does tend to give you a little bit more space than he should, but he takes care of you. And at the end of the day, if both of you can finish, why not? And Stege, also another good driver. This is going to be an interesting race. As we see, we are about to start a wet Monza. I did ask for a wet Monza, and I did receive it. Let's see what's going to happen. Tier 1, amuse me. Give me something to look at. Let's make it interesting. Now, I've got to ask one more time to everyone who's watching, who's your money on? Who do you think is going to convert his qualifying position to a win? Will it be Stel? Will it be Bloodwave? Will it be Stege? Will it be Brock? Will it be someone like Alupalu getting a secret victory, just staying in the shadows, waiting for everyone to make mistakes? Can it be someone like Mitch? He is high up enough in the grid. I think he is starting 5th position. Let's wait and see. No, wait. Is everything going to happen? Is the lobby going to start? Or is it going to be another issue? Patiently waiting. I'm going to say we're going to have a secret. Well, not a secret. We're going to have an interesting winner today. I think we're going to have a winner outside of the top drivers today. I think so. The top drivers are going to make mistakes, and someone's just going to just stay behind them and just wait for the opportunities to come their way. I think it's going to happen. We're still waiting for players. Now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. And it's lights out and away we go as we see Bloodwave getting a great start on Stel. Stel's got a bad start as we see Steger now trying to go on the inside. Oh, Stel, is he going to be able to make that move as we see Menley also going on the inside, and he just has to back out as he just taps Stel on his front wing. Does he have damage as we see the Ferrari making mistake? Now Brock into 4th place as we see Stel 3rd place. Steger in 2nd. Steger's lost his front wing. Steger's got a big issue. It's a safety car, I believe. Is it a safety car? A virtual safety car. Just trying to get... Everyone's going to be on full wet tires. Let's see what else we've got here. Let's look at the telemetry and the lap data. Now... Steger really needs to get to the pits as soon as possible. What a big mistake from the Mercedes driver in turn 1. I think he might have got tapped from the rear end. As we see Stel, and virtual safety car is done. Now Bloodwave has to take advantage of the front wing damage that Steger has, as he's going to hold everyone up in Ascari. Bloodwave making a big gap. Stel now trying to look for a move as we see the guys at the back going 3 wide almost into Parabolica. 2 wide moments for 4 drivers here. As you see Aries, Jack, Sume and Dax all close to each other. Now Brock moving up as we see Men having a look on the outside as Brock has to defend on the inside. Is he going to try and make a move? He just has to defend it. Can he keep Men behind? He just can't squeeze him. It's going to be too risky in these conditions. Men just not getting that traction as we see a 3-second penalty for Mitch. We see Jack and Sume going side by side in the Curva Grande. Now going into the second chicane. A lot of action here at the back. We see big turns as he touches Sume. Big turns and Sume had contact. So we see Dax making a move for it. As we see Boba and Dax going into Lesmo. Going into Lesmo 1 now, Lesmo 2. Just have to be patient as we see Mitch is going to make a move on Men. Now he's really trying to show his pace. He needs to get to Bloodwave. This is the perfect start for Bloodwave. He's pulling away a little bit, keeping his car in all the right positions, finding the grip, pulling away. Now Brock is getting closer to Stel as well. Going through the Parabolica. Stel is not happy with that rear end of that Alpine. Can Brock make a move? He's going to make a move. He's going to be past Stel even before they get to turn 1. Is Stel going to fight it back? Is Stel going to make a move on the inside? He just has to sit back, be a little bit patient. The race is still long. As you see Brock make a mistake, he rode the curb a little bit too much. Now he needs to fight it back into the next chicane. Now Brock finding that pace, finding that grip where Stel isn't able to. Going to make a move on the outside. Is he going to be able to make that move stick? No, he's going to sit behind. The best shout is to make the moves into turn 1 or Ascari. As you can see, his car is just drifting out of the corners. There's a 3-second time penalty for Erminator as we see Saber coming into the pits and immediately going to retire. As we see Neku made a mistake out of Lesmo 1. Does he have front wing damage? It doesn't look like it just yet. He doesn't have any front wing damage. He's still safe. Now Mitch trying to make a move on Brock. Brock is taking too long on Stel. So you see Bloodwave is putting away lap by lap. He's so relentless in these conditions. Bloodwave with another fastest lap. Can Mitch make a move on Brock? And he's going to make a move on the outside. If Mitch is going to make a move, he's late on the brakes. He just squeezes Brock to the apex, leaving just enough space for the two of them to get through. Now Mitch on his way to try and catch up to Stel. He's got the pace. He knows he can catch up to Bloodwave as well. He just needs to get through this traffic. Now Brock sitting at the back of Mitch after Mitch made a move on him. Mitch is going to try and get a move on Stel. As you see Bloodwave losing a lot of distance on Stel. He lost a good 7/10 in this first sector alone. He might have made a mistake. I think he might have almost lost the car. Now Brock looking at the back of Mitch once again. These two are going to fight the entire race. And this is gloves off. These two know they're going to be fighting each other for the championship. As we see Boba and Big Turns, the two teammates swapping around. Will one of them be able to get Dax? It's going to be a tight fight between these three drivers as well throughout the race. As we see Brock getting closer to Mitch. Now on the rear end of Mitch, and that rear end of Brock is very loose. Is he going to make a move into turn 1? We see him. Is he going to go on the inside? No, he's just going to sit back. He's going to be patient. He's going to save his tires, save his ERS. We see Mitch almost out of ERS while Brock has a full 80% on his battery left. Stel on 85%. Stel is he's just running his own race, just controlling his own pace. So we say Steger also on the back of Neku. Is he going to make a move? Fastest lap as well. He's got the pace. He just needs a safety car to get back into the race. As he makes a move past Neku, and that's an easy move on traction. We see Suma on the back of Erminator. Erminator's plane is really struggling in these conditions. See Suma in the Alpha Tauri on the back of this Aston Martin. He's just gaining slowly but surely. Just making a look on the inside, trying to get Erminator off his line. Just so that Erminator can make a mistake and he can try and pounce on the mistake. As we see Erminator losing the rear end a little bit, and Suma is now trying to catch up into Parabolica. Is he going to make the move? No, he's just going to be sitting patient behind. He's going to make the move into turn 1. That's his best chance to try and get the move. As we see Mitch and Brock going into turn 1 as they go side by side. As we see Mitch getting past Brock. He's going to stay in front. Brock now needs to fight it back on traction if he can. As we see Suma and Erminator going side by side. Erminator chooses the outside line. Going to turn into the inside for turn 2. As we see Suma getting on the grass a little bit. Who's going to get the better traction? As we see Erminator get the better traction. As we see Suma lose the rear end, and he goes onto the grass, almost losing the car onto the barrier. What a move. What a defense from Erminator. Just leaving him enough space. As we see Jack and Aries just sitting patiently behind with men. They're just not close enough to the front pack, but they are there if the front pack does make mistakes. We see Brock getting closer to Mitch once again. Alfa Romeo, Ferrari, and Alpine. This is horrid conditions. As we see a rear end loss as we see front wing damage for Aries as he ran into the back of men, and we see Jack making a move past both of them. And Jack just sat behind them, kept patient, and he made his move into P5. Now Jack can go and run his own race. Can he try and catch up to the guys in front, or just sit behind until they make mistakes? Now Brock sitting patiently again behind Mitch. These guys, it's a good track for overtaking, but in the wet conditions it can be tricky. You don't have the slipstream effect as badly as you're trying to search for traction much longer. Your braking zones are much longer. We see Jack, I think he might have lost the rear end as we see Aries get past him, and he's going to make a move back, and he's just couldn't make the move stick. And we see the Aston Martin and Mercedes, and the Mercedes with the front wing damage is running a brilliant little battle here. We see Big Turns and Daxi. No, Big Turns might have lost it. And Erminator's now past Big Turns. Big Turns had a little bit of a mistake. Is Erminator going to get past him? No, Big Turns just keeps it on the outside. Now moving back to Boba and Dax. Can the McLaren find a way? Can the McLaren driver just get that little bit better traction out of Parabolica, or maybe turn 2? You see Dax currently pulling away. Now Jack at Parabolica getting a brilliant run out of Parabolica. Is he going to try and make a move on the Mercedes driver? Does he have the pace? I think he needs to sit back. He can't make the move, and he's just going to sit back. I think this is going to be all on tires. And knowing Jack, I think he's going to try and run it to the end. As we see a 5-second penalty for Big Turns coming into the pits. Now Steger all the way up back into 14th. He's going to try and make a run back to the points. As we see Jack now getting past the Mercedes driver. What a traction zone from Jack as he just makes a mistake into turn 4 and 5. Now these two are going to run side by side into Lesmo. Jack needs to let him go. He needs to file in one by one. He needs to defend from men behind him. Getting who can get the better traction here. You see Jack just struggling with that rear end. The tires might be going off a little bit. As we see men, he might try and make a move. He's going to sit back. Can he just be patient? These guys are losing a lot of time on the front runners. And looking at the front, Stoll really hasn't been able to make much of a impression on Bloodwave. That gap has been consistently between 2.8 and 3.2 seconds. Now Brock with a 5-second penalty, speeding into the pit lane as he couldn't get the car slowed down in time. Brock might be opting for new wet tires. He's going to want that fresh rubber. He wants to get the perfect undercut. New tires will... As we see the Red Bull going for a last-minute move on Jack. What a move. That was totally unexpected. I think he might have missed his brake marker and just went for the move. And Jack won't be impressed with that. As we see Alu, as I said, he's just going to be patient, Alu. He's going to come back when these guys' tires are done. He's good at tire management. We know that. And now it's going to be his turn to make those moves. As we see Steger now looking at the back of Erminator. Steger is definitely going to make a move into turn 4. And he gets past the Aston Martin. Steger's fighting it back. He's got the pace to do it. As we see Brock recently came out of the pits onto the Intus tires. Let's quickly see what we can get here from these guys on the details. Let's see, as we see Brock and Big Turns are the ones that made the decision to go onto the Inters. The Inters might be able to go faster, but they will definitely be a lot looser on the rear end, and they make a mistake and you will lose time, as we see a lot of drivers coming into the pits now. We see Bloodwave, the first in P1, coming into the pits, also onto the Inter tires. Still also onto the Inter tires. The guys who aren't pitting, they really need to consider pitting. They will lose out if anyone else does pit. As we see a Red Bull make a move on Jack. What a move from Men, as he's consistently making moves on Jack into turn 1. Now can Jack get the better traction out of turn 2? So you see Brock, he wasn't able to get the undercut on Stell. Looks like it's pretty even between the two tires. I just think the wet tires will be overheating. They will be losing time. You will be understeering or losing the rear end depending on what tire is overheating. You see Boba at the back of Neku. As we see, this is definitely the time for Inters. The wet drivers needs to come in. They need to come in and make a move onto the Inters. You see Brock at the back of Stell. He needs to make that move. He needs to get closer to Bloodwave. They've made a good, they've just closed up on Bloodwave ever since moving to the Inters. And they're just gaining time on him. Bloodwave might be in a little bit of trouble come the end of this race. Unless he can get Daxi to try and keep them at bay for a lap or two. Just trying to keep them behind. But that will cost his teammate his own race. As we see Mitch now into the pits. As we see the other drivers follow suit. Dax is definitely coming into the pits. We see Bloodwave. Everything's now popping off. Jack into the pits. So you see Brock making a move on Stell. On the outside. What a move from Brock. Can he now chase after Bloodwave? He's got the warmer tires. They have lost some time in that battle compared to Bloodwave. You just need to sit patient. You see Neku in P9, the only one who hasn't pitted yet. I think he still doesn't feel comfortable with those Inter tires. I think he needs to take the risk. I know it might be one of those situations where you can crash into a barrier if you do make a mistake, but this is all risk it for the chocolate biscuit type of racing. Now looking at Stell, looking at the back of Brock, they're trying to collectively try and catch Bloodwave. They can't fight. They need to sit behind. They need to drag each other along if they have any hopes of catching the McLaren. As we see Mitch is having a lonely race right now. I think if this is going to continue where he is currently, he's going to have a lonely race all the way to the end. We see Sume get another 3-second penalty for extending on track limits. As we see Brock getting the fastest lap, showing his pace. He is on his hunt for Bloodwave. He's smelling blood and he wants it. As we see a 3-second penalty now for Men. These conditions is really making it difficult for the drivers to keep within track limits. They are losing the rear ends, having to correct the oversteer. You see a 5-second penalty for Neku coming into the pits, couldn't get the car slowed down. So you see Steger with a 1:30.0. That's 6/10 faster than what Brock managed. What a lap from Steger. He's coming back. He can definitely get a top 7 result here. Even top 6. I'll put my money on him getting a top 6 result. You see Boba, Men. These guys are really running close to each other. Men. Oh, and Men makes a mistake on the braking and he goes wide. He does lose a lot of time. That will invite Jack back into the party. Jack isn't going to say no to that. He's definitely going to take that opportunity as Jack makes a move before they get to Ascari. Jack is going to have to defend now from Min. Min might have made a mistake, but that's going to make him hungry to make the move back into turn one. As we've seen 2 or 3 times previously, as we see Mitch going fastest. Everyone's trying to pop up fastest laps. We see Jack now going fastest by 5/10. What a lap from Jack. I think the conditions are getting better. As we see Dax now getting a better lap than everyone's trying to get a fastest lap. We see Dax and Sume going side by side once again. These two have gone side by side a few times in this race. Who's going to get the better traction out of turn 2? It does look like Sume's going to get it in the Alpha Tauri, but now he's on the outside in the Curva Grande. Going into turn 4, he's going to have the inside. Is he going to keep it? He's just going to keep his nose in there with Dax having to back out, run wide, just to keep both of them safe within that tight space. I don't think 2 cars can go side by side into turn 4. Now looking at this battle once again, we see Boba just sitting behind Alu with Jack, Min, all of them bunching up. Jack's rear end is really loose. I wonder if it might be running too low wings, or if there might be a suspension issue or something. He's definitely struggling. We see Jack. He's going to get some slipstream from Boba in front, but he does have a raging Red Bull right behind him. As we've seen, Min has made the move a few times into turn 1, and he's going to make another move into turn 1. It's another late call as he just loses the rear end. He couldn't get the car perfectly turned in. He lost the rear end a little bit, too hard braking, and Jack is able to keep the position. Now looking at Dax, he's behind Sume once again. The gap is growing a little bit. Dax isn't able to keep up with Sume after Sume made the move past them. Now we look back at the battle between Alu, Boba, Jack and Min. Min is falling back a little bit. I think he might have overcooked the rear tires a little bit. Can Jack catch up to Boba? Into Ascari. We have seen Jack make a lot of mistakes on the exit out of Ascari, losing that rear end, and he almost loses it once again, and that is costing him precious time trying to get to Boba. Now Boba getting closer to Alu. He's closer than he's been on the previous 3 or 4 laps. Now this is Boba's chance as he makes a mistake in Parabolica. He gets the better run. Is he going to make a move into turn 1? As he's getting that traction, he's going to get the upper hand on the pace. He's got the better pace advantage. He's just going to sit behind once again as we see Steger with the 1:29.0. Fastest lap again for Steger. Is Steger going to look at... As we see the Dax has made a mistake. Him and Sume has made contact and they went off the track. And that has put Steger back into the points positions. And he's going to chase after his teammate. He's got the pace to catch them. At this point, he might be able to catch Boba as well, as Boba got past Alapalu. Now Boba needs to pull away, because Steger is definitely on a manhunt. He's on a hunt for some good points in this race. You see Alu, Jack right behind him. 0.3 of a second difference. Jack needs to be patient in Ascari as we see him almost losing the rear end mid-corner. Now Min has the run on Jack going into Parabolica. Is he going to make a move on the outside or the inside? And he just sits back. He's going to try and make the move again into turn 1 as he's made so many times as Brock and Stell has gone side by side, but Brock just keeps the position. Now moving back to Min and Jack, as Jack is going to make a move on Alupalu, is he going to make a move into turn 1? He has to make the move on the outside. He's going to sit back. And he makes the late call into... And that's a big mistake from Jack. That's a big mistake. That's definitely going to go to the stewards. What was Jack doing? As we see Sume retiring in the pits, as he definitely retires in the pits. As now we see Alu at the back of men. I think Alu definitely might have gotten some damage with Jack. The question is, has Jack picked up any damage, or is he just going to fall behind? Doesn't look like there's any damage. Now Alupalo is now looking at the back of men in the Red Bull as he makes contact with the Red Bull. This is all kicking off at the moment. Williams driver looking at the back of the Red Bull. He wants to get past. He doesn't like the dirty air. Alupalo is good on his tires. He's just, I can guarantee you, he's looking after his tires. He's going to make the move later on in the race where he's going to try and come back at them. As we see men looking at the back of Boba. Boba not getting a great run as men gets a perfect run out of Parabolica. Perfect. And that's going to be an easy move into turn 1. As men is out of ERS, he doesn't have to pace anymore. Steger goes for another fastest lap. Steger's showing some great pace tonight. You see Alupalu sitting behind them. Alu is also very low on his ERS. Boba is just as low as Men is. This group is really defending and they're using all their ERS and then just as we see Stel going for a move into Lesmo 2 and Brock just left him enough room as they're going to go. He's going to make a move into Ascari. Is this going to be a move for Stel? He's going to sit behind. You got Brock off his line. Now he can make a move while Brock is off his line. Can Stel make a move into Parabolica? He's going to go on the outside of Brock and make a move as he gets the move done into Parabolica. Now Brock is going to try and make the move back. Get the slipstream into turn 1. This is getting very close between these drivers as we see Mitch even joining the party with these fresher tires. He's got 2 lap fresher tires than Brock, 1 lap fresher than Stel, and that does make a difference on a full race distance. We see Mitch just slowing down enough. We see Aris made a mistake and Jack is back past him. Everything has been kicking off. It has been dull from, I'd say, just before the pit stop phase. But after the pit stop phase, everything has been kicking off. As we see Jack going through the Curva Grande. And there's nothing at this moment. As we see, the closest fight is with Mitch and Brock. Can the Ferrari make a move past the Alfa Romeo? He's got the fresher tires. They are starting to catch Bloodwave. Bloodwave might have made a mistake. They're really catching him. So let's look at it. The ERS, Bloodwave is really pumping his ERS to try and stay away from the slipstream of the guys behind. Estelle is also low on his ERS. Brock is the advantage currently on the ERS side. As you see, Brock getting a twitch of oversteer, and now Mitch has definitely passed him. He's going to make the move already before they get to turn 1, and that's going to be an easy move for Mitch. Now he just needs to get past Stel. He's got a lap fresher tires compared to Bloodwave. 8 laps compared to 9. That's going to be an easy ask for him. As we see a virtual safety car who has spun out. As we see, it was one of the McLarens. That was definitely Daxi. He's beached. Okay, poor man. I think he definitely needs to reset. Yes, he did reset, but that was proof that he did reset because he was beached. If they give him a penalty for that, I will strike. I will go to whoever's house it is, and I will strike for my man Dax. I don't know him, but I will strike for him. But knowing ALR, the stewards are brilliant. Just have to love this, as it's a full safety car. I see the safety car on track, but for some reason, it's not showing that it's a full safety car. It's showing a virtual safety car. As we catch up with Bloodwave, you see the safety car is waiting on track. As you can see on the minimap, that yellow dot as Daxi has left the session after retiring in the pits. Not a great end to Daxi's race. I think after qualifying there was so much hope, so much potential. As we see all the front runners coming in for Inter tyres, that's the right call. Everyone's going to be bunched up. You want new tyres. They've got the advantage on the guys behind. The only problem is, I think Bloodwave might get held up. He doesn't get held up. As we see Brock entering the pits just after he does. A lot of drivers are going to have to come into the pits. They need to get to the pits. As we see Steger all the way back up into 9th. What a recovery drive from Steger. And Bobo's on the soft tyres. Did I miss something? In what race is Bobo? Listen, Bobo, that's some proper Ferrari strategy right there. Is it currently? It's still raining. I don't see why he came into the pits for the soft tires. You can just see him struggling to get out of turn 2 with the traction. I think he'll lose the rear end. As we see men coming into the pits for mediums. Are they going to make a call to do dry tires on a wet track? Because these conditions definitely aren't suitable for dry tires. Unless it's going to dry out within the next 2 minutes or 5 minutes or whatever. If it's going to dry out, this might be the right call, but the track is way too wet for this. This is a Red Bull with a Ferrari strategy and Haas with a Haas strategy. I think the Haas driver definitely made the right call for his Haas badge, but a Red Bull driver coming onto the mediums, that is questionable. We saw men definitely made a mistake, and these guys are under safety car. They're not going to be able to do a full race condition. But anyway, getting our attention away from them. Enough of me slandering them. I will avert my attention to someone else. And that man is Bloodwave. This man has led the race the whole time. From the start, the question is, can he keep it all the way to the finish? I think he deserves the race. He's definitely... If I had to choose my driver of the day, it would be between Steger and Bloodwave. These guys have been brilliant with their driving. Absolutely brilliant. And then we've got guys like Mitch coming back, also fighting. And Jack making a great... After losing the rear end a few times actually in this race, I think he will definitely be happy to see that soft tire right behind him. As we see... I think Ares might make way for Steger as soon as possible. And it's nothing against Ares, but Steger has had the better pace, and teamwork is what makes the dream work. These guys need to work together. They need to try and focus on the constructors as well. As you see, the Haas drivers getting wheel spin in 5th down the straight. This is horrible. I think... And Bloodwave's left the session. He needs to get back in. Can we maybe invite him? Let's see if we can invite Bloodwave. Apologies, everyone. I am trying to get Bloodwave back into the session for us. Where is Bloodwave? There he is. I have sent Bloodwave an invite so that he can join the game once again. Is Bloodwave going to join? He needs to join. And Bloodwave is back. Stel will not be happy with that. I think Stel would have wanted Bloodwave to stay away. And Bloodwave's left again. No, not Baby Hornet. He doesn't play the game in any ways. As we see, is Bloodwave going to join back? Currently, his car's still in AI mode. I'm wondering if he might be losing this win. Does look like he's back. Now running through the grid one more time. We've got Bloodwave, Stel, Mitch, Brock, Jack, Boba on a completely different race to what I'm watching. Aero, Steiger, Alu, Erminator, and Men. Then we've got Roller, Big Turns, and Neku. Erminator's going to get a point. What a race from Erminator, actually. He's been very quiet, just keeping his nose clean. And he basically came all the way back from P7, well, P16, if I believe. That's a good recovery from Erminator. As we see Bloodwave now controlling the pace of the pack. He's heating up those tires. You can see him on the brakes. He's just going to keep it calm. The best time to make a bolt for it is to wait all the way to the end of Parabolica, because everyone's going to be on their brakes while you can then run for turn one. As he makes a run for it early, as the guys behind him didn't expect it, as he's already got an 8/10 gap to Stel, all the way up to 9/10. He's going to try and make a run for it as Stel is starting to use his ERS. Now Bloodwave stopped using his. He knows he can defend. He's got the pace to do it. As we see Mitch and Brock going side by side. As Mitch goes a little bit wide, he squeezes Brock. They give each other just enough room, just enough respect through turn two as they're going to have a fight on traction. And Mitch has won that battle as they go all the way up into turn four. Who's going to have the advantage going into turn four? As Mitch is going to fight for it. He's going to keep it. And Brock is going to make a switchback on Mitch, and he's going to try and make a move into Lesmo 1. Is he going to make the move? No, he's just going to sit behind, and he's going to try and get a good run out of Lesmo 2. Going to make that run into Ascari as Mitch gets the better traction. You can just see Mitch starting to pull away. Now with Jack at the back of these guys. As I said, I believe someone unexpected can come and try and win this race, and Jack is definitely one of those drivers who can try and win this race. Jack getting a great run out of Ascari. That's his best run thus far, not losing the rear end at all. As we see Boba and Men definitely falling back. They are not having a happy time on those dry tires. Now Jack getting a better run than Brock out of the final corner. Is he going to make the move into turn one? He's definitely going to have a look at it. He just needs to be patient. He just has to select his braking marker. Is it going to be a move from Jack on Brock? And he taps Mitch. Jack made another mistake on the brakes as he did early in this race, and that's going to be 2 Stewart reports on Jack, definitely. And I think Jack might have front wing damage from that. And Mitch drops all the way into P9 as we see Steiger all the way up into P6. And he was lost for a couple of laps earlier in this race. Now Stel catching up to Bloodwave. Can Bloodwave try and keep away from Stel? Bloodwave has to save his ERS. He needs to use the cornering speed of his car. He's been very good in the corners compared to the others. As we see coming out of Lesmo 2, he's gained 2 tenths on Stel. Just pulling away. Now Neku looking at the back of Erminator. As we see Neku get past Erminator. Erminator might have made a mistake. Now Erminator trying to get a move back onto the Red Bull driver. Now going through Scary. Can he get a better run? He definitely has a better run than the Red Bull driver in front. As we see the Red Bull driver into the wall, definitely. No, he just lost the rear end and he's back on the track. As we see Mitch now making a move on the Red Bull driver. Going into Parabolica, and Mitch has the move done. Can Mitch now make a move on Erminator to try and catch Alupalu? Now looking at Alupalu at the back of Steger. Steger just made a move for P5 and he's going to lose it on Alu, and he's going to make a move back on the braking. On the outside, is Alu going to give him any space? Alu's just affording him enough space. As Steger definitely made a mistake in going onto the grass there a little bit. As we now revert back to Stel and Bloodwave. Are these two going to fight for it all the way down to the line? That safety car did bring, as we see, a 3-second penalty for Bloodwave, and he's definitely going to lose the race. Unless Stel makes a mistake, he's losing this race. This is Stel's race to lose. As we see Steger now out of Lesmo 2. Is he going to try and make a move on Alupalu into Ascari? Mercedes so close. Is he going to sit behind? Just force Alu. And he's going to get on the outside of Alu. And he goes off track. He definitely needs to give that position back. He's going to keep the position and he's going to race as he does let Alupalu back past. Now going into Parabolica. Can he get the better run? Now Stel is falling back a little bit on Bloodwave. He just needs to keep within that 3 seconds as we still focus on Steger. Steger can make a move into turn 1. He can make a move on Alu. And he's going to make the move on the inside of Alu. And he's going to give him enough room. Is Alu going to force him wide once again? A little bit. Who's going to get the better traction? It does look like Steger's got it. And they need to get a move on because Mitch is right at the back of them. As Mitch is getting a better run, then Alupalu. Is he going to make a move on Alupalu? And he's got on the grass trying to make that move. As he's on the outside. And Alupalu is just giving enough room as he just has to get over the curb, get off the corner. And now we see Mitch looking at the back of that Williams as they did afford Steger to get away. As Ares did get past all of them. As Ares is getting a good run back into P4. Now with Mitch. So you see Alupalu get a 3-second penalty. And that is definitely going to help Mitch. That's going to help Mitch get back past both of them. They need to be careful as Neku is within 3-second range of both of them. What is Mitch going to do? Is he going to sit behind? Is he going to make a move? We see the gap between Stel and Bloodwave currently 2 seconds. We see Mitch making a great run out of turn 2. He's got good traction, but Alu's just pulling away out of the traction zone. Now can Mitch make a move into turn 4? The second chicane is a very difficult place to overtake. He's going to make the move into turn 4. As Alu is just forcing him wide off the track. Alu's not giving him any space. As we see Erminator now trying to make a move on Mitch. And Erminator and Mitch make a little bit of contact. And they both lose time to... as they both lose time in the Lesmos to Alupalu. And that's going to help Alupalu get further away from them. But this is still very close because I think Neku is still within range to get 6th place. That's going to be a great result for the Red Bull driver. But now we have to cut to Bloodwave. As Bloodwave's going to make a run to the line. He wins the race on track, but he's not going to win the race And it's going to be a victory for Stel after taking pole position, as we see Brock crossing the line into third place. As we see Ares, great result for the two Mercedes drivers. Steger all the way from last place after the first lap, coming back for it, as Neku takes sixth place, just keeping his nose clean. Alu in seventh, Mitch in eighth, Big Turns ninth, Roller in 10th, Jack in 11th, 12th is Erminator, 13th is Boba, and our only DNF, we've got 4 actually. Min, Dax, Sume and Staber. All 4 drivers DNF'd. What a race from Stel. What a race from Stel. Started on pole position, lost it into the first corner, and he gained it all the way back. Well, that was definitely an interesting race. What a race. Well, thank you, Tier 1. That was definitely interesting. I did enjoy it. I just wish there was a little bit more action. And Tier 3, I hope you guys were watching. I'll definitely see you guys again next Sunday. Now, time to take a breather. We see the podium celebrations from Stel. Running through the final classifications one more time. There's definitely a mistake. It was Stel, then Bloodwave, then Brock, then Ares, then Steger, Neku, Alu, Mitch, Big Turns Roller, Jack, Erminator, Boba, and then our DNFs were Min, Dax, Sume, and Staber. Well, what a race. I definitely enjoyed that. I hope you did as well. And until next time, have a great Sunday evening and a great, great week to come. Cheers, everyone. Peace.